This hive is not going to make it through winter. I'm watching the entrance, and over the last few weeks, I haven't been happy with what I've been seeing here. Take a look at the hive over there. You can see a lot of bees. So we need to go in there and check today to see if this hive has a queen, brood, ready for winter, and all that good stuff. It's a little cool. Patrick and I had to wait until 11 o'clock this morning until it got above 65 degrees Fahrenheit so we could actually start inspecting. Okay, this will make you jealous, Patrick, but no small hive beetle there.
There you go.
Patrick and his small hive beetle issues. Now this super is not entirely full. I can see this frame is not drawn out. This frame is not drawn out. Not much on this one. Capped over, capped over, capped over, capped over, capped over, no, no. So we have 3 not drawn out, 2 not drawn out. So we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have a mating nuke that has better resources, so I can always swap some of these frames out. This is the medium super, so I can't use any of the deep over there that we just, in the last video, we swapped, we combined a hive back there that has a lot of frames of nectar, but their deeps won't fit in here. All right, so let's move this off, get back to our task at hand, looking for brood. They're noisy, which sometimes means they're queenless, not always. Keep that in mind. Capped over, capped over, capped over, cap, 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 which for speed's sake, we're going to lift up. Ooh, it's going to be tight. I think we can lift this one up. I'm going to break these little bridges here, this comb building that's in between the frames. I'm going to try to lift that frame up in the middle to speed up, because any brood in this box is going to be on this frame right here. You can use a piece of cardboard like that to kind of cover up the frames that you're not playing with, if you want to do that. Or you can also lay a sheet of burlap. Might be hard to get it to stay. Hey, that's pretty sharp right there. You know, I love teaching beekeeping. And I think every video that I make it for the sole purpose of teaching you. So I'm not just doing things and boring you with what I'm doing, like today I'm going to do this, watch me do this. I'm teaching you ways to avoid robbing, look at a hive to make sure it's ready for winter with a lot of brood. So I'm teaching how to examine it and then what you do based on what you find. Patrick does a great job. You know, when you're working bees and the sun is out and a cloud goes behind the sun, Patrick has to adjust all the ISO, shutter speed, and all of that. Thanks for making me look good, Patrick.
Huh. That was funny.
Hard to find people that make you look good.
Man.
It's like pulling teeth. Nope, that's not going to work either because it's just too much honey. All right, so we're going to have to go back to plan B, which is working our way across, I'm afraid. Can't pull one out of the middle. It's just going to be a little too much. Chance of damaging the comb that's pulled out not exactly smoothly. Now we got some room. Okay. Just capped over frame of goldenrod honey and goldenrod pollen. They drew this frame out within the last few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks on goldenrod, capped it over. So they've been working hard on that. I'm aware that that frame is down there and that robbers could find it. But again, I don't think they're foraging. I don't think they're out looking. Same thing. Frame of honey, capped over. Whew. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so we're getting to where I want to be in the middle here to look for any brood. This is one of the frames I originally wanted. Nope. Okay, so man, we're going to have the difficult task of going deeper. This is not going to be fun. Only because there's a high probability that this is going to weigh 1,000,000 pounds. It's October the 13th. and there's a chance of robbing. But sometimes you just got to cowboy up and get it done. And this is going to have a funny appearance because there's going to be a lot of burr comb with honey in it between these two boxes. All right, bees are singing, telling us we have all clear to pick this up. Oh, wow, I can't do it. Wow. I think I turned out to be about 60 to 70 pounds. That has to be the heaviest box I've ever picked up. Look at that mess.
Yeah.
So to speed things up, we're going to leave everything just like that because this could really start a robbing frenzy quickly. And we're going to try to pick this frame up right here. Let's cover our box up. All right, let's go for this one. All right, Patrick, what's your percentage guess that this has brood or no brood? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's got brood.
Oh boy, I'm going to say zilcho. Just from the noise, how much honey was up above. But I hope you're right. Nothing. Not even any eggs. Zilcho. So when you see that, it's likely that they're all going to look just like that because that frame is ready for the queen to lay on. And look how noisy they are. And nobody laid on that frame. Ah, but the next one looks better. Patrick might come out a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in this case, I hope you're right. I do see a little brood up on this frame. But one thing you see here is cap brood, no eggs or larvae. That means there was a queen here 8, 9, 10, 12 days ago, but not lately. This hive is definitely either queenless in the sense that they had a queen and now it's gone, or they're queenless and they're getting a queen going. Like, in other words, there has been a queen, a supersedure, something happened after the cap brood that we see. So there could be a queen that's just mated, hasn't started laying yet. We just really don't know. No eggs or larvae. Here we are on this side. Again, cap brood. I'm just hoping that we'll see a queen that's just getting rolling, just getting started. This hive is not going to make it through winter. Now, I think sometimes this might be a mistake that some beekeepers may make. You may look at a hive, not notice that they've gone queenless. You might even, look for brood and not see brood. But for some reason, like I said, anywhere from 8 to 21 days ago, we lost the queen. And oddly enough, we don't even see any swarm cells. They're not even raising any queens in here. And so this hive is hopelessly queenless right now because there's no eggs or anything in there. Now we need to cover this up, and what we have to do, put her back together and make a decision on how we want to handle this going forward, but we don't want to make that decision with it open. Let's see if we can free it from the bottom one. There we go. I'm going to use my body, see if I can do it that way. Yeah, that's not bad. Get it kind of close in the front on the corner. Yeah, there we go. Wow, that was one of the best landings I've seen. And I didn't kill my back. Oh my gosh, it weighs a pound, but it's really heavy. I'm disappointed to find this hive to be queenless this late in the year. And the only thing I can do is put a mated queen in there. So now I need to put a new queen in here. Now, this is not an ideal day to work bees. It is only probably 52 degrees right now. Way too cold to pull up any frames. So we're not going to do that. We're going to be quick about this. I'm going to put my new queen in there. I'm going to have to take this super off because I want to get my queen down a little bit lower in the brood area. A lot of people think if you work bees when it's cool like this, you know, it's not good, and that's true. A lot of people think the bees won't be flighty or come out and sting you, and that's not true at all. They will still try to fly out and do their thing, even though they're not flying at all. It's just a hair above clustering temperatures. Now, if you're questioning why I'm doing this, it's because I don't want to lose this hive. If it's queenless now, and going into winter queenless, it's a goner. So you'll get to observe kind of how I do this, okay? When I remove the super, you can see the top of the cluster. Oh, by the way, here's my new queen in here. She's up in the candy there, if you can see her. And she's marked with a blue dot. Just a little bit of candy because they are queenless. Things should go well. I am going to smoke them just a little bit. You can kind of tell they're just kind of clustered right there in the center. Trying to get this one frame up over here without tearing the frame up. It is not budging. Keep trying a little more. Oh, there it is. You heard that propolis break. Propolis seal broke before the frame did, so that's going to help me out. It's not the ideal time, but there is 0 brood in this hive. So I'm not going to be killing any brood. It's just bees that need a queen. So it's a little more easy to negotiate. I would be worried if I had to pull, capped over pupae up. All right. Yeah, it just went queenless on me for no reason at all. All right, now I might be able to stretch some frames. Woo, nope. All right, I got one frame moving. I got another one moving. And the bees are not happy. This is where I want to put her, where I know that the bees will keep her warm. All right, they already kind of sensed she's there. I like to get her down a little bit more below the wood of the frame. So let me push it down a little more. All right, that's good right there. Perfect. Let's get our frames back together without smashing the queen cage. Too much. All right, there we go. They have room to eat through the candy. I just have a little bit of candy for them to eat through. Maybe less than 1/4 of an inch. Let's get more smoke over here. All right. Fingers crossed on this queen. Will they get her out? She's mated. So, once they get her out, eat that candy, then maybe she'll just start laying some eggs. Ooh, I sure hope so. So that's one of the reasons and how easy it is to lose a queen like this one here. Big, great hive all year. Goes queenless in the fall. And when I discovered it, I didn't think I had any queens, but I did. And so now we're able to, we got a queen in there. Let me show you one more thing about feeding bees this time of the year. I want to put some insulation up here by the feeders. Okay, so I got some more on there. A whole pint jar. Okay, so the way I'm going to insulate it, because it's going to get below freezing over the next few days, I've just got some of this bat insulation, fiberglass insulation, and I'm just going to put it in here like this. I mean, it's not going to be extremely cold, but cold enough where I kind of want to give them a little more protection from losing a lot of heat up here in the top. Bee out of there. So I'm just kind of packing this all around these jars is what I'm doing. I know some of you are really into R value and all that stuff. This is R30 if you use it the way that it's designed, but I'm just packing it around these jars, so it could be more or less. I'm going to do all my hives this way, still feeding them liquid, even though it's getting a little cooler at night. I won't lose a lot of heat from the top. Well, in the fall, you still may be wondering where to store your honey supers. Maybe you had a beautiful honey crop this year and you've extracted your honey. Can't put them back on the hive, obviously. You got to store them somewhere. There's a lot that can go wrong in storing your honey supers. So watch this video right here. I'll help you guys out. See you over there.